Tonight on Evening.
Drivers, do you copy me? Stand by.
It's the most realistic racing movie ever made. Brad Pitt on the Need for Speed and F1 the movie. Expert tips from protecting your home from wildfires, no matter where you live. And the robot sushi place in Linwood that'll have you humming this tune.
Welcome to the show from the Washington State History Museum in Tacoma. I'm St. Brian, and we are here for a sneak peek at a brand new exhibition that opens on Saturday. It celebrates the fashions of the Gilded Age, when Tacoma and Seattle both truly were coming to life.
The Gilded Age is an era between about 1870s and 1910s where you had this massive infusion of wealth in society. We're talking about a really wealthy, sort of 1% in America who were really enjoying the finery of life.
In the exhibition Dressing the Gilded Age, you'll see custom-made dresses, some made of European lace, fancy hats literally made out of birds, and the dramatic impact of bustles, especially popular at the time.
And it's meant to emphasize your backside. So you get this nice rounded shape on the back.
Women did not actually look like that back in 1910 or whatever.
It was a revolutionary time for fashion, and not just for the elite. Department stores started popping up, and mail-order catalogs.
So the everyday person had access to fashion in a way that they never had before.
Here's your chance to step back in time when new technologies and changing cultural norms transformed the way people dressed.
For someone who loves fashion and who loves this time period, this is a real treat to be able to see these garments and really look at them up close and kind of see them in context with each other, right? You can imagine walking down the street and experiencing people who are wearing these clothes, who are promenading to show off their latest outfit.
Dressing the Gilded Age opens on Saturday and runs through February 15th of next year. The Washington State History Museum is open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 to 5. Well, anticipation is revving up high for F1 the movie, starring Brad Pitt. It's set out to become the most realistic racing movie ever filmed. But will it win the checkered flag at the box office?
Drivers, do you copy me? Stand by.
In F1 the movie, Brad Pitt really is driving at speeds approaching 200 miles per hour. But even this motorcycle-loving actor needed weeks and weeks of physical training to get used to the track, to learn to trust the car, and to go faster. At the world premiere in New York City, Brad said he's really excited to share the movie.
It's funny, everyone in it is great. At the same time, I'm a little sad to let go because it was just so much fun being on the track.
Roll camera.
From the beginning, it was about trying to capture the experience of being inside a Formula One car.
Ready, and action. To put audiences in the driver's seat, Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski set up as many as 4 cameras on each car.
We actually have cameras that we can move while we're shooting. And pan.
This camera body moves 360, can catch us, can catch one of the other drivers.
Brad says when he was behind the wheel, he had a constant mantra: trust the car.
And I mean, when you brake, it's like you put, all your force into it, and this car will slow down in time. You could go from 180 miles an hour to 40 miles an hour, like that.
The only question here is, why did Sonny Hayes come back to F1?
So what's the story?
I think it's really wonderful that Apex are giving second chances to the elderly.
It's a familiar one about a veteran driver with one last shot at glory. The younger driver who stands in his way, the love interest who's a whiz with wind tunnels.
It'll be full of action, but there's also a bit of romance for the ladies. Because I'm a sucker for a bit of romance in movies.
It all takes a backseat to the racing scenes. Some shot the same days and on the same track as the real Grand Prix races.
The energy of the crowd, all the F1 drivers, the cars. that's going to help give this film that kind of grounded quality that we're looking for.
I'm down.
It's always better to overachieve than underachieve.
Oh my God.
And boy, did we overachieve.
F1, the movie, is rated PG-13. I saw it at an IMAX screening, and I have to say it puts you right in the driver's seat, and is such a winner technically that it may be days before you realize you've kind of seen this story before. In any case, we have a huge F1, the movie giveaway coming up later in the show, so please stick around. All of this racing around a track reminds me of a time I made a huge mistake. I challenged Garth Stein, the author of The Art of Racing in the Rain, to a race in the rain. And here's how it went down.
The challenge, a race in the rain, against the man who wrote The Art of Racing in the Rain, Garth Stein.
To be a successful race car driver, you know, balance and anticipation and patience are really key. One of us is going to be spinning out today. I guarantee you.
In The Art of Racing in the Rain, the principles of the racetrack are lessons applied to life by a dying dog named Enzo, who plans to be reincarnated in his next life as a human.
Not all dogs return as men, only those who are ready. I am ready.
As we drive out on the track, one of the racing principles I remember from Garth's book stands out. Your car goes where your eyes go.
It's true. It's true. I think in the military they call it target fixation.
My target is the driver in the white helmet, which reminds me of another lesson from his book. That which we manifest is before us.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a new agey thing, but that's the whole idea of we have to be responsible for our own fate. That which we manifest is before us.
In other words, create your own destiny. It's a principle Garth had to follow after sending The Art of Racing in the Rain to his agent.
And he called me up and he said, it's an adult book, narrated by a dog. No one's going to take this. No reader will read it. No publisher will publish it. No marketing person would know how to market it. He said, do me a favor, throw this book away and go write me something I can sell. And so I'm on the phone with him, and 2 words popped into my head, and I just blurted them out. I said, you're fired.
Garth found another agent. The Art of Racing in the Rain has gone on to sell more than 2 million copies in 35 languages.
I mean, I jokingly call it the cult of Enzo, but it has kind of gotten to that point. I mean, I was on the road for, at 5 years I stopped, just because I had to finish my next book.
Now Garth is finishing our race. I see my chance, daylight on the final turn. And that's when I spin out, taking Garth with me. What would Enzo say about that?
Well, I know I learned a lot about racing in the rain. What about you out there today?
It's a fun little track.
Thank you so much.
A lot of fun.
Great. We're going to practice a couple more times, and then we're going to do this again. I am never going to live that down, but I had such a great time. When Garth Stein isn't kicking somebody's butt at a racetrack, he's working with artist Matthew Southwork on a series of graphic novels about a genetically modified man who is crossed with a goat at a lab on Vashon Island. It's called The Cloven, and you can find it at local bookstores.
Take these steps to protect your home from wildfire. And a sushi spot in Linwood using monorails and robots to serve their fare.
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
Welcome back to the show from the Washington State History Museum in Tacoma. This is another exhibition that you can see while you're visiting here. It's called The Things They Brought Home, Memories of Washington's Vietnam Veterans. You'll see things like a flight helmet, a map detailing troop casualties, a canteen, and dog tags. 58,000 Americans lost their lives in the war, and even those who survived were changed forever by their experiences. You can see authentic war mementos here at the museum through November 16. Summer traditionally marks the beginning of wildfire season, and you don't have to live out in the wilderness for that to be a concern. I spoke to Christine Zooey and Shannon White of PEMCO to discuss how we can all be better prepared. Christine, if I'm thinking about wildfire prevention only in the summer, I am doing it wrong, right?
You are correct. Wildfire season is now 78 days longer on average than it used to be. If there's no snow on the ground, you should be thinking about wildfire prep. The good news is there's a lot you can do with just your standard set of homeowner tools. Keeping your gutters clean, keeping your lawn mowed and watered can all be very effective at limiting fire's access to your home. If you are in a known wildfire risk area, you may be eligible for a professional assessment. Someone will come to your home and walk your property and make recommendations for your home. And I just had a friend who did this, and they were thrilled with results because the recommendations were a lot less expensive than what they'd anticipated they were going to have to do. And now they're feeling much more safe this summer.
Christine, I've got all kinds of big plans for this yard. What's a good idea? What's a bad idea?
Okay, well, let's start really close to the house. Right next to the house, you want to skip the beauty bark. Highly flammable and requires a lot of maintenance. Gravel or volcanic rock is a beautiful option, very low risk for fire. And then there's a lot of brush out here. That's your neighbor's property you can't do much with, but you can create a decorative fire break. So that could just be a dry creek bed, it could be paver stones, but anything that's gonna stop that fire, because believe it or not, your yard can have a big influence on protecting your home.
We've come to the back of the house now. Most decks are made out of wood. I kind of like this look right here, and I bet you do too.
Oh, absolutely. This is perfect. There is nowhere for embers to go and get trapped under there and start a fire. But as we know, most decks tend to be wood or something, and so what you can do is get some 1/8 inch mesh and just wrap around the deck there, and again, that will prevent the embers. You also want to be careful about anything you store under your decks, because that can also be fuel for fire, especially if it's flammable.
Shannon, you handle property claims. You've seen the kind of damage wildfires can do. How important is it that we prevent embers from floating wherever they want to go?
And one thing to keep in mind, even if you're in the city, there's still a potential risk. So even if you're not seeing those flames, those embers can travel miles, land up on the rooftop, land in your gutters, or land in dry vegetation, and within seconds, you've got a big disaster on your hands. One way to help protect and prevent damage from occurring is have a hose ready to go or a fire extinguisher. Never leave those flames unattended. We'll want to make sure that your house number is clearly visible, especially if your home is set back from the road. You'll want to make sure that those first responders know exactly where you are, because just a few minutes difference of them trying to find you can make all the difference in the world.
How handy is it when people actually know every single thing that they've lost in a fire? And how do we do that?
It's tremendously helpful so that we can make sure that we are accounting for everything. So a good tip is take your phone, turn on the camera, and just go room by room and video everything. Open up those drawers, open up those closets. This is a good reminder and provides documentation for what you had.
All right, my Ember Busters, Christine and Shannon, thank you so much for teaching us all how to prevent the preventable. If you'd like to get more tips on preventing wildfires, go to PEMCO.com. We are going to head to Linwood right now, where there is a sushi place that is getting quite a bit of help from robots, and one of them is actually pretty cute.
Fair warning, you will never unhear this song.
Attention, the robot is coming.
Meet Peanut, a robot at Sushi Hana in Linwood that brings water and joy to every table.
Your delicious meal is here.
I love it. I like her too. Yes. And we do a little dance every time she goes by.
This place opened in December of 2022, and Peanut is not the only automation here. There's a machine that makes rice balls for nigiri sushi. Another robot cranking out rice sheets for rolls. And instead of a conveyor belt, a sushi monorail delivers fresh orders to individual tables, while Peanut delivers water, birthday cupcakes, and positive self-talk.
Here comes the little Peanut, pretty and smart.
She also has a growing fan base. This daughter and mom made a special trip from Everett to meet her.
Overly excited when Peanut brought our water.
My Peanut's a big helper. I love it.
There are still humans behind the sushi, crafting it carefully. Salmon is their most popular. They go through 400 pounds a week.
Now, I always like to see people eat the good food and then with a smile, this is good. Whoa, yummy. Wow, that reaction, oh, that makes my day.
At Sushi Hana, service is fast. Food is made fresh to order. And when you leave, you'll bring more than leftovers home.
Mine in the car for a little way home. Our belly's full of sushi and our heads full of Peanut song, yeah, for sure.
I am not afraid of any difficulty, yeah.
In addition to birthday treats, Peanut will also help out with graduation parties. You just have to plan in advance with Sushi Hana.
Up next, a 5-star dive bar that's 100% old Seattle.
What will be the most repetitive question that the grunge community will ask?
Where was the last place Kurt Cobain sat?
Portions of Evening are sponsored by Pemco Insurance.
Welcome back to the show. There's a tavern on Seattle's Capitol Hill that has been referred to as the grunge version of Cheers. And it just happens to be this week's 5-star dive bar. Here's Jose.
They say it's a nice place for nice people, entertaining customers for more than 3 decades.
We're kind of a staple. We're like the dive bar of Capitol Hill.
The vibe is always very casual and relaxed.
We've got a little bit of a cowboy theme going on here. It's a tavern. It's kind of like Old West feel. We have a photo booth that is extremely popular amongst the customers and also the staff. This is Buck Hunters, so you can come and test your skills and see if you're a good shot.
Let's not forget the grunge connection that Linda's has. Because Nirvana's front man Kirk frequented this bar.
What will be the most repetitive question that the grunge community will ask?
Where was the last place Kurt Cobain sat?
This is where we think he used to sit.
But don't just take their word, because the reality is...
I don't know where Kurt Cobain sat, I'm sorry.
They also have a patio with a second bar, perfect for the summer days. And with that, it's time to talk about the special drinks.
We have happy hour from 4 to 6. That's every single day. Today, I'm making a purple haze, which is Empress purple gin, agave syrup, and lemon juice. Purple haze.
Another must-try is their Baja Blast slushie.
This bar is just a sanctuary for the creative misfits of Capitol Hill. We get to throw a party every single night, and we get to make sure that people have a good time and also stay safe.
All right, thank you, Jose. Linda's Tavern is open 7 days a week. Now, on Mondays, they offer chess night from 6 to 11. Chess, that is a 5-star dive bar first.
Up next, Start Your Engines. Your chance to win tickets to F1 the movie, plus some sweet Formula One swag. Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from Pemco Insurance. Pemco empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at pemco.com.
Welcome back to the show. As promised, we have an F1 the Movie giveaway, and it is a good one.
You don't have to get in your car and race at speeds that might catch the attention of the Washington State Patrol. All you have to do is find our F1 the Movie post on the King 5 Evening Facebook and or Instagram pages to enter to win a giveaway package, which includes 4 tickets to see the movie, as well as some fun promo items like this t-shirt our own Spencer Brown is showing off, #PitCrew, air fresheners, hand fans, keychains, and a poster. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines and good luck.
And that will do it for us from the Washington State History Museum here in Tacoma. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.